Hello, everyone. My name is Olivia Jackamore. I am a QA and trainer with ViaQuest Psychiatric and Behavioral Solutions. And today we are going to be going through Smartcare for Supervisors. So we are going to be going through the Smartcare for Supervisors handout. I will have them on one side of my screen while going through the steps and showing you how to complete them within Smartcare. All of you should have access to these handouts and should be able to follow them accordingly within your own Smartcare system. So the very first one that we're going to be going through is just 001, add, change, complete payroll entries. So as you start working with your staff, you will need to be able to go through and make sure that their payroll is done effectively. So first and foremost, we are doing payroll, so we always need to be in our calendar. So there we find that first. And then you want to make sure that you are in the correct staff. So you will just want to hit this little erase button and type in the appropriate staff member and hit apply filter on the right. We then can see the correct payroll blocks that need to be changed. So there is one payroll block already, but then there is another overlapping payroll block that we cannot have. So that needs to be deleted. So we can go ahead and just select that service to open it back up. And then you have all of your toolbars up in the top right. You can click on the icon that looks like an open book, and this will take you to the details page. Once we do that, we can see that the status, we can change that from complete to error, because we want to get rid of that overlapping block. Because we have changed information in Smartcare, we want to make sure that we actually save that information up in the top right. That is now grayed out. The error is grayed out. And we can just go and make sure back in that calendar that it has been removed accordingly. And there you go. But how do we add a payroll block? So let's say our staff member gets a hold of us and they said that they ran their reports at 8 p.m. last night. They did like 30 minutes of just administrative work. Totally fine. We can go into Sunday yesterday, click on whatever time, a blank spot in your calendar. And because we already have the payroll client selected, we can go ahead and just select new service entry and hit OK. We then can fill out the service as appropriate, the according program, procedure, location. Want to make sure we always get that mode of delivery. We will put the time in and the time out. "30 minutes there, just some administrative work. We can hit save up in the top right. And then we can go back into that staff's calendar to make sure that it has been uploaded appropriately. Right there. So then we can also force complete a note or force complete that service. So we can go back into that service that is still in show, and we can just select on it to open it back up. we can go back to that open book in your toolbars to open up that service details. And just as before, we have status, but then we have show, and we want to put that into complete. Show to complete. And then we will want to hit save up in the top right. And as we can see, the items gray back out, and save is grayed out as well. If we want to check that that service has been completed, we can go into our Office tab, go into our billing banner and services at the bottom. You will then want to update the search accordingly. All services, the correct staff member, the dates that you want to view that service with apply filter. And you can see accordingly 12/8 complete, as well as that error note that we did. If for whatever reason it is not into complete, please reference the billing errors handout and reach out to your supervisor for next steps. That is the first handout. Next up, we are going to be going through 002 billing changes. So if you need to go through any specific progress notes and client billing, you need to do any editing that way, we are going to be following this handout. So first and foremost, we are still going to be in that staff calendar. So you will want to make sure to hit your Office tab and go to My Calendar accordingly. Make sure that you are still in the appropriate staff's calendar. Click on the service that you would like to edit. You will always get a flag alert. We will want to make sure to address that and hit OK. We then can go back into that open book to open up that service detail to edit accordingly. We can see that the override edit button, which is this little guy with a pencil, is available to us. We can see it is the dark blue color, and we can just edit it accordingly. So we can just edit, change whatever we need to change. Let's say we got our times wrong. So sorry, Ben. We actually were in there for 10 more minutes. We were in there till 10:20. We can then just hit save. And can see that it edits and grays back out accordingly. If for whatever reason the key is not available, you will follow the next set of instructions below. So first and foremost, if this was grayed out, you would then want to make sure to reach out to your supervisor and the billing department to make sure they can update their site accordingly. And then once you do, you can go in and you will copy the service. So we are going back up to our toolbars and we will hit this copy service icon here, which is the 2 sheets of paper. This copy service will then unlock everything accordingly. We want to make sure to change the date to whatever date we are changing. And then instead of scheduled, we are popping this in show, putting this in show. You can go through and add on anything accordingly if needed. You will then want to hit save. You will get this pop-up. And we are going to select OK, because we are just going to error out the other incorrect note. And then you will want to move documents. So move. You will want to select the appropriate service. Once you have selected, you would like to move the new service you have just created, so you will select Move Document up in the top right. And then you will want to click Save. My save is already grayed out. That's totally fine. The staff will then need to go in and sign this new document that you created, and then you can go back in and complete it as we have been through previously. If you have any further questions on editing or changing any Smartcare billing, please reach out to your supervisor. Here we have 003, checking for billing errors. So if we get any warnings, so we will want to make sure that we select our office tab and go down to our billing banner and select services from that cascading list. We will then want to make sure that we select the appropriate filters for what you are trying to locate. So if we want the ones with warnings, we're looking for those errors. That very first dropdown, we can select and select from the list services with warnings or errors. We can then select the appropriate staff, the date of services that you are looking for, and hit Apply Filter accordingly. A list of services will populate, and there we can see if any have warnings or errors. So the most common error is the failure to complete reason. So I can see that there was a failure to complete reason here. You want to click on the date of service, DOS, and that will take you to the service detail screen. So once the service detail screen is open, we can see at the bottom, there is the warning errors there. And the error message must have a signed note before completing a service. So that is why this status is still in show. It cannot go into the complete status until it has been signed by the staff member. So that is what the most common billing is. These other common billing errors include a billing diagnosis required or not valid for the service, a financial information has not been completed, or they're unable to find a matching rate. So regarding whichever error happens, please make sure to follow this accordingly. For any of the commercial insurances and dependently licensed staff, just make sure that the attending is filled out accordingly within that note. So if that is one of the errors, you will just need to make sure that you add in the correct staff member as you're attending and save accordingly. And that is it for the billing errors. Next, we are going to be looking at 004, checking client insurance and balances. So first and foremost, we will open up the client's charts and locate finance in the banner. So I have my guy Ben up here. We are going to be in the client tab. You'll want to hover over finance, and then you will want to select coverage from that list of the cascading banners. The client plans will show any insurance a client has provided to us. Plans listed under the plan time spans with the no end date are their active insurance plans. This is what we actually bill for our services. You will want to make sure that your client does have some insurance there. And then you should never stop services unless you hear from the billing department or clinical director. So for those insurance reasons, you should not stop services unless you get the go-ahead. If you want to check any client's account balances, under the finance, we can see client account there in the cascading. We can select that. Under any current balance, current client balance, and unpaid services, you can see what the client is currently owing. You can then click on that hyperlink. It will go into show only the unpaid services, and you will be able to locate the date of the service, how much was billed, and how much the client owes accordingly. Because Ben is a test client, he's here for training, he doesn't have anything. We are next going to be going over 005 client flags. So I got to this screen by clicking on the Office or Other tab, hovering over Contact Notes, /flags, and hitting Client Flags appropriately. That is how I got to this screen. You will then want to enter the criteria for the report you want to run. So in the flag, you will drop the appropriate or select the appropriate one from the dropdown. I want to see specifically flagged for Ben. So all flags, but specifically for Ben. So then once you have set up what you want to run appropriately, you will hit Apply Filter. And the report will go ahead and be displayed appropriately. Ben only has the couple of flags there. Let's say I want to add another one in for Ben. So how do we add a client flag? So we are going to go over into the client chart. And in the client banner of timelines, flags, and events, we want to choose client flags. If the client doesn't have any, it will be blank, but we can still go up to the top right corner and click that blank page for a new flag. We then can go through these steps here regarding whichever flag that you want to do. If you are part of our psych medical team and want to do a flag for the medical ITPs, you will follow this here. For any other regular flags, you will just want to make sure that all of this is done accordingly. And there is the screenshot there for you. So let's say in the type, I'm going to go through, Ben, unfortunately, he lost his hearing aids. So he's pretty hard of hearing right now. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to find one for hearing impaired. The level will always be information. Billing is the only team that can do urgent and warning. So our information is what we are going to be doing. And then the note, we just want to give a little bit more on this type of flag. Ben no longer has hearing aids. We will then do the display date. When do we want this information to start displaying to everyone? We do not have to do anything, and there's nothing that we are ending, nothing we're linking to. If you want to add more into the comment section, feel free. You do not have to. But then we want to hit insert on the bottom to actually go into the list of flags. We then will want to make sure that we hit the save in the top right, because we've saved information, we've changed information in Smartcare, and we want everyone else to be able to see it as well. But let's say it's the next day and Ben actually says, "Hey, Liv, I now have hearing aids again." That's great, Ben. So we will want to then end the client flag. So we can go back in. We can select the client flags appropriately. So you would just go back in the exact same way. We'll click on the flag or select it from your list for it to pull up appropriately. And now we can modify the flag. So we want to end this flag because he has his hearing aids again. So end completed by, I will select the appropriate date. Completed by will open up, and I will want to make sure to put my name because I am verifying, yep, this information is correct and should be ended. Again, if you want to add in any comments, feel free. It is not required. Ben's hearing aids have been repaired. None of those are hearing. You will then want to hit modify because instead of inserting a new flag, we are modifying an existing one. And again, we want to save this information. And we can see down in the list that it has been ended accordingly. The next handout, 006, is all about your messages. So first and foremost, you should have a widget on your dashboard called the New Alerts and Messages widget. This will tell you if you have any new alerts and messages right off the bat. If you do not have this widget, you can go up to the top right of your screen where this little plus sign is, and you can add the widget accordingly. If you cannot find that, that is totally fine. You will want to make sure, because this is items for yourself, you will be in the Office or Other tab, and you will go down until you find the Messages Alerts banners and select Messages accordingly. Once you are in the message box, you will want to make sure that your dates are correct. So it's just going to be from the last time that you looked at your messages. So you will just want to make sure to select the appropriate dates and hit Apply Filter. You will want to select the message that you would like to read and open up. So you'll select the little radio button and the message will populate at the bottom. And if you would like to delete this message after reading it, that is totally fine. You absolutely can. You will just want to hit this little checkbox next to the message that you are wanting to delete. And then above that, you will select Delete Selected. Once you do that, it'll say, "Are you sure?" And you will want to select OK appropriately. If you would like to just reply or forward this message to another staff member, you have the options in the right-hand side, right above the details. You can then reply directly to the sender. So to Gabrielle Bryson there. Or we can forward it to the appropriate staff member. There. Once you do that, you will just want to hit this little mail icon to actually send the message. And that is all for checking your messages. Next up is 007, the No Services in 90 Days report. So this report should be run at least once a month to ensure that all clients are being seen. So directors and designated supervisors do have an Outlook reminder to run this report, but I'm going to go through how to actually do that. So The easiest way to do it is just going to be up in the top left next to our Smartcare logo. We have our little search area. We have our magnifying glass, which is our search bar. And in the search bar, we can type no service. And we can see the no service in 90 days report populates. We can select that, and it will open up a new screen for a new report. Here is our new pop-up accordingly. You will then want to find the appropriate drop-down. So wherever your region is, whatever your discipline is, you will just want to select it accordingly. And then you will hit View Report or Enter to actually run the report. You will then want to work with your staff in order to make sure that you are viewing the clients appropriately and to make sure that they can get seen for services. And then the goal is to have all the clients seen or discharged by the end of the month. Next is 008, addressing client episode issues. So if you or a staff member are having issues with a client episode, they will receive a validation box that looks like this. So this client does not have a current open episode. Please register the client before creating a care plan. So there's a couple reasons on why that might have happened. The first is that the client was previously open for services and it has been more than a month of lapse in services. You will then just want to email intake to go through the process accordingly. Or an agency discharge was done in error. So in order to fix this, we will want to first open up that client. So we will go to the client's chart. In this instance, I will be looking up my guy Ben here. So we will make sure to open up the client's chart and make sure we are in client information C. Once you are there, you will want to make sure to go to the client episodes tab. If the episode is discharged, such as this first one, you will then need to submit an IT ticket for them to undischarge the current episode. Next is 009, opening and assigning programs. So we can see we already have Ben open in Smartcare. So we can go directly into the client tab and find programs appropriately there. We can select programs from the cascading banner in order to see all the programs that your client is enrolled in. If you are updating the assigned staff, do not change the enroll date. You are only going to be modifying the staff themselves. If that is what you would like to do, you would just select on the status enrolled in order to open up that program. And you can update the assigned staff accordingly. You will then hit save up in the right in order for the new assigned staff member to be saved into the system. If we want to open up an entirely new program, when we are in our program assignment details or in our list of programs, we can go back to our toolbars up in the top right and hit this new page icon. So hit this little new icon up in the top. You then will want to select the appropriate program from the dropdown, wherever you want to select. You will then search for the appropriate staff member. In the current status, you will want to select enrolled and fill out the enrolled date when you are enrolling this client into this new program. You will then want to hit save. We can see that it grays out and goes into the history there. And we can go back into our entire list of programs, and it has been added accordingly. One quick note about Ben's programs here. He does have a lot of programs. That is because Ben is a training client, and we use him to train a lot of different disciplines. Your client will not have that many. We are next getting into 010, reassigning clients, documents, and reviewing the in-progress documents. So when we do want to do any kind of caseload reassignments, especially if you're reassigning a number of clients all at once, you don't want to go through and every single client go through every single one of the programs. You can just do a bulk reassignment. So first, we can either, there's two options here. They are right there, the screenshot for you. But we can either go into the Office tab and find Caseload Reassignment banner, or we can just look up in the search bar Caseload Reassignment and select that. If neither one of these are in Smartcare for you, you will want to make sure to request the permission be updated. So go through your supervisor or submit an IT ticket for the appropriate updates. Once you have clicked on the caseload reassignment, your screen will look like this, and you will want to be able to make the appropriate selection. So in the assignment type, if you want to do a reassignment of the client, you will want to make sure to hit program. If you want to change the reviewer on documents, you will select documents to be reviewed. And if you want to see any items that are not completed yet, you will select documents in progress. For now, we are going to do reassigning clients. So I want to select program. And then in the assignment subtype, you can select a specific region. You do not have to, but I'm going to. So I want to make sure all of my Woodlawn South case management is updated accordingly. And then you'll want to select the appropriate staff, especially if you are reassigning from the wait list. You will want to make sure to put the wait list in there. I, however, want to reassign from another specific staff member. So I'm going to put that specific staff member in. And then I'm going to hit apply filter. And I can see there that there is some Woodlawn South case management that I would rather have assigned to me. So I can either hit the blue all or select just the individual client that I want to be now assigned to me. I will then go to the upper right-hand corner to click the little people icon. This box will pop up. You can put in whoever you would like to reassign these clients to and hit save. Click reassign. And then that client is now off of this reassignment list. There's also the to be reviewed or in progress and apply filter to check that accordingly. There is also an additional way of reviewing those in progress documents. So first, we can go back to our dashboard. So we can click our little Smartcare logo up in the top left, or find our dashboard banner underneath the Office tab. You will have a widget labeled Supervision Documents or Supervisee Documents with in progress there. If your clients or your staff members, have items that are in progress, you would then be able to select it accordingly, and it will take you to these appropriate pages. And if you wanted to export that, you could as well. We're now going into number 011, running a caseload report. So you should know already how to run a caseload report on yourself, but how do we run the staff's caseload? So it works the exact same way. There's two different ways we can run the report. We can go the long way, which is going under the Office tab, hovering over the My Work banner, and then selecting My Reports from that list. You will get this second screen with a list of all the reports you can run, and you can select Caseload Report from there. You can also go up into the search bar as we have been using and type in caseload, and caseload report will populate there as well. So either one you can select, and this second screen will populate. You will want to select the appropriate staff member from the drop-down. You can leave program as all programs, and then you will want to hit View Report or enter to actually run said report. And the caseload report will pull the following information for each client that is assigned to the staff. If you would like to export this report, you'll want to select the little floppy disk icon. And if you hover over it, even says the export. And then you can export, and it is recommended to use Excel. Next, we're going through 012, in progress documents. So when you want to check, again, those staff's in progress documents. So we went through this briefly, but especially during supervision, you should be double checking this information. So during supervision, you're going to have your staff log into Smartcare. And as always, they should be on their dashboard first and foremost. Have them locate the assigned documents widget. And from there, you should be able to see the in progress options there. So you'll want to make sure that all of these actually say 0. And if it doesn't, you can select the hyperlink to see what is currently in progress for them. If you are outside of supervision and want to check this information, again, we would do that in the caseload reassignment. So we would just look up caseload reassignment in that search bar. And in the assignment type, we would want to select documents in progress, the appropriate staff member, and apply filter to see if anything populates accordingly. I do not have anything in progress right now, which is why there is no data there. Next is 013, searching for inactive clients. So how do we search for any kind of inactive client? First and foremost, we still want to make sure that we go into the client search in our little search area here. So we're going to hit on the little search icon, client search icon. You then will want to click the client search in these arrows. This pop-up will appear as accordingly. And you can search for the appropriate client that you want to find. You can then do a broad search. And the clients will appear in records found, and you can just find the inactive clients there in status. So an inactive versus active status. Once you do find the inactive client, you can hit select, and the client chart will open as usual. However, the name will be grayed out. And if you hover over, they will say inactive because they are inactive in Smartcare and receiving no services from ViaQuest. Next, we are looking at 014, the unassigned clients report. So this report should be pulled each month to ensure that all clients are assigned to staff or added at least to the wait list. So directors and designated supervisors do have an Outlook invite for this. So in that search bar, we want to be able to type in unassigned clients. So up in our searching area, we'll hit the little magnifying glass and type unassigned clients. This, just like our other ones, will open up a new screen for that report. There's only the one drop down for programs. You will want to find and select your designated region and discipline. So you will want to scroll until you find the appropriate one, and then hit view report or enter to actually run the report. And then once you do run it, it will look like it is below. So it will tell you how many clients you must address and what the client is a part of. You will then just want to work with your team regarding these clients being put either on a wait list or being put on someone's specific caseload in order for them to be seen appropriately. And then the goal is to have all clients assigned by the end of the month. Payroll services summary for supervisors. So our payroll services summary with productivity is the productivity report. We use them interchangeably there. So when we talk about running a productivity report, it is called the payroll services summary with productivity report. So here we are specifically looking at the ones for supervisors. So first and foremost, a few items that you need to make sure are in place beforehand. You want to ensure all payroll and progress note entries are entered in Smartcare to get the correct information, and then follow the progress note entry and payroll instruction handout for any guidance needed. You'll want to then complete a calendar check and complete any billing errors first, or this report will be inaccurate for productivity. You will then just want to run the report. So first you will go to that magnifying glass, and you can go into payroll service summary with productivity. So I will hit the magnifying glass and type in that search box, payroll service summary, and be careful here that you actually do select the one with productivity. This will then open up a new page for you, just as our other reports have been doing. Oops. First, you will want to select the week that you would like to see your staff productivity. So we will do last Sunday to last Saturday. So remember, ViaQuest always runs on a Sunday to Saturday week. The program name, you can leave it alone. It is just as select all. In the staff name, you will want to select everyone on your team, so you can go through the list appropriately to find whoever you need to find. Once you have selected the appropriate staff, you do not need to run individual reports on all of them. You can just run everyone in the one report. You will then select View Report over on the right or Enter to actually run the report. And the appropriate information will populate. So because my team does not have any productivity, it is not populating there. So this is what it will look like for you. This information is what will populate. So you will want to make sure to double check some of the following information. You will review every entry to ensure that the progress notes are under 90 minutes. Service minutes there. If the notes are over 90 minutes, make sure to review the progress note for medical necessity and document on the weekly progress note review document. Work with the staff on making edits if it is not meeting medical necessity. And then you just want to review if the notes were completed per the policy time limits to no bonus eligibility. So signed per policy there. Double check the correct procedure codes and that there are no overlapping dates or times of services. And if therapy is billed back-to-back with TBS, there must also be medical necessity. Make sure you review that as needed. Employee payroll and PTO will also show up in this report. So make sure that the correct region is selected and all Paycor PTO matches the Smartcare PTO. And ensure that all services billed have payroll blocks to match that time worked. So you can see the things that we are looking for in these screenshots appropriately. And then just review that all notes and payroll entries pull through as complete. So you'll want to make sure that the actual status there, they all say complete instead of the show, scheduled, or signed status. If either of those are there, please work with your supervisor and go back to the billing errors worksheet in order to correct it. On the bottom right corner, you want to verify the total hours of payroll and productivity, and the percentage will automatically calculate. If needed, you can export it as an Excel sheet and upload to the designated folder. That was the last handout that I had for you. So by all means, if you have any further questions or need any further guidance, please reach out to your supervisor for more assistance or go through and read these again. Otherwise, that is all. So have a great day.